I feel like what you're describing here has some unique ideas in it that I've never heard of before, including using the Pentagon to do this. But the basic idea that ventilators should be surged to the places that most need them. I feel like I've heard New York Governor Andrew Cuomo talk about the need to do that and basically ask for that to be done in terms of New York's needs right now. Is there a reason? Is there a bottleneck somewhere? Is there a bureaucratic problem? Is there a reason why it can't be done or it hasn't been done already?
I don't think anybody's been talking about it very much, frankly. Andrew Cuomo has begun to brush on that idea. To me, this just occurred to me this morning. There's a lot of other things we could do because of this crisis. I mean, in China, there are 40,000 doctors, nurses, and respiratory technicians went from all over China to Wuhan and helped the Wuhan doctors fight the virus. There's no more virus in Wuhan. Those doctors have all gone home. There have been victory parades for them, gratitude, flowers, and everything. They're heroes. They have skills in fighting COVID-19. Any doctor will tell you that an old doctor who has seen the cases before knows what to look for. A young doctor who has never seen a case before is scared and nervous and doesn't know what to look for. They not only have the skills, a lot of them caught the virus and are now immune. So they can do a lot of things that would be dangerous for somebody who hasn't got the virus to do. I don't see why we couldn't hire for our pandemic a lot of those doctors, nurses, respiratory technicians. We would need to find translators, but that's not so tough in New York City. We would need to pay them, but American wages look pretty good to Chinese doctors. The bottleneck, I fear, is that the Trump administration may be so afraid to admit that it might need help from outside that it will refuse them visas. But again, that would cost lives. I think that would be a mistake. I mean, apparently, when Mr. Trump on Friday talked about his conversation with President Xi of China, he didn't mention that President Xi offered him help. Didn't want to mention that at all. But if you look at the reporting out of China, that was clear. I think it's not a good idea to keep insulting China and baiting them, because if you look far enough down the road, President Trump may have to go to them with his hat in his hand, because we're going to be able to design a great vaccine, but I don't know if we're going to be able to run our vaccine plants if too many are sick. I'm not quite sure. We may need vaccine from China, and they, out of anger, could simply say, sure, it'll be $10,000 a dose. And that's the free market working with you on the bad end of the stick. We don't want to face that. So I think we got to think about opportunities here for being smart about getting a hold of the supplies we need, getting a hold of the expertise we need.
And you talked about using the Pentagon as opposed to ventilator lending library, as you described it. You mentioned that they have the planes to do it, among other things, and they have the logistical skills. If there is going to be an effort to tap that kind of international expertise or to partner with China on some sort of vaccine effort, would you also expect that to be something that we might need the U.S. military to be involved with in order for it to work? Or do you think that we'd be capable of doing that through existing federal channels?
The U.S. military is really good at this stuff. They have gigantic commands that do logistics. If you can move tanks, you can move ventilators. They have ships that do this sort of thing. They have planes that do this sort of thing. And they do it incredibly efficiently. Why are we not using them? And they're brave about it, too. And they're not bureaucratic.
Donald McNeil, excuse me for cutting you off there, science and health reporter for the New York Times. Mr. McNeil, thank you for coming back. Your clarity, as always, and your urgency, very much appreciated. It's good to have you here.
Thank you.